People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in each and every time. I hope you're doing well and safe. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on where you are in this world. I hope you're doing well and safe. It's Thursday, so I hope you're crushing your goals for the week, and then you can look back tomorrow with a sense of accomplishments, as it will be Friday, and feel like you got somewhere. You know, if we're not trying to be better than we was in life, what the hell are we doing? I hope you're well and safe. I apologize for starting 15 minutes or so early. I just thought, you know what, why not? Pardon me, I'm kind of pressed for time today as well. I've got physio in a bit, people. I'm actually going to go to the gym as well as physio, and the physio guy said don't do that. But yeah, I actually have to go physio for my knee. Minor, I'm still out here in that, but I still have to do that. But I thought, you know what, there's no rules. It is my, as much as I love you lot, it is my YouTube channel. Whether I said 11:30 or not, if I want to start earlier, we can start earlier, man. So why not? Big up everyone. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Please make sure you're checking out the pin message, of course. Obviously, I've got a live stream coming later today with my good friend Art de Roche, who happens to work for the Athletics. So we'll be speaking about Arsenal. Obviously, not that he can answer them because he don't work for Arsenal, but we'll touch on some transfers and things like that. Obviously, Buendia. Well, if you lot have been following, I've been changing the title of this video how many times. I see this Buendia news and all of this, and shout out to everybody, people. I know, you know, keep your Buendia opinions flowing and things like that. But just before we get into that, people, I would like to talk about one thing in particular, and it's doing my head in. It really is doing my head in, and I've had enough of it. Like, I can't lie to you. You know me, people. I'm never one of them people that's going to sit here and always blame the refs. I do think football fans and Arsenal fans, we do at times overdo it with unfair decisions, or what we deem as unfair. There has been times VAR has benefited us, but I'm sorry, you know, I'm tired of VAR. I'm not tired of the actual what it is. I'm tired of how it's implemented. I'm tired of the obvious bias against Arsenal Football Club. I don't know if it's because Arsenal are deemed soft, Arsenal are deemed cheaters, but for me, it's meant to first and foremost be equal. Clearly, it's not. You know, Slop is foul again. Whether it's a foul or not, I don't care. But Slop has foul. Slop has committed a madness. We've had players sent off for less than that, and for similar things. For Benteke, we've had players sent off for similar things. Do I think Benteke should be given a red? No. But again, consistencies, and it just seems like someone at Arsenal has to break their leg or have their leg broken or something like that before before something is done. You know, you have a duty of care. You're not looking up these VAR people and these things. You have a duty of care to look after all 22 players and whoever comes off the bench in a game to ensure that win, lose or draw, nobody's cheated against, everybody's safe. And these tackles, someone's going to end up with a madness. You know, we've seen it happen to Saka. They're not going to stop until somebody's leg's broken. You have a duty of care. You have a quality. VAR is failing it. And there's been too many games for the fans where we've sat here and VAR has played a point, and we haven't been amazing, but VAR has played some part in the game. And sometimes VAR has benefited us, but 9 times out of 10, and again, I'm not seeking, I don't buy this crap of, you just got to get to deal with it. VAR will, you know, it will turn around. Every decision that goes against you will go for you. I don't care about that. I want safety of our players, and especially, you know, the whole point of VAR and tougher refereeing was to, you know, make sure the more extravagant players are protected. You know, Pepe's being fouled every week, Saka's being fouled. The El Nene thing, where is the consistency? You know, Chambers, thank God Chambers, we can only talk about how he's had a good game. Chambers was absolutely written off yesterday. Where is the duty of care? Just because there's no intent, it doesn't mean it's not malicious in a sense, people. And I'm tired of it. Like, something has to happen in this regard. You know, they're not going to stop until somebody breaks their leg at Arsenal, and it's not fair. You know, again, why listen, I get criticized for what I say on YouTube and what doesn't happen. You lot criticize your own opinions and everybody else's. The managers criticize, players are criticized, clubs are criticized. Why can't we criticize the people that referee in this country? It's appalling, and how they're using things like VAR. You know, you've got people who have been taken off VAR and not done it for 166 days, put back in. It's atrocious, and there's a reason why the Premier League, give or take, might be the biggest or one of the biggest of the top 5 European leagues. If you was to do a league table of referees now, England Premier League, we're getting relegated. And for me as an Arsenal fan, it annoys me because I care about equality, but it's more duty of care, and you're seeing reckless play. Why are the referees not scrutinized? Seriously, they have biases. They watch football. Let's just say I think Arsenal. I'm handling VAR. I'm the referee. I watch football. Half of you should have been football fans, and I deem in my head Arsenal are soft. Arsenal players dive and all of these things. that is going to play a part in the decisions I make, whether it's conscious bias, like I just said, Arsenal are soft. Because of that, it's not a free kick, or the unconscious bias where you don't even know you're giving decisions away against Arsenal. Pardon my language, it's an effing disgrace. You're not going to stop until one of these players is legs broken and they're injured. What the hell is going on? You know, and I can't, you know, fair enough, the ref might miss it, but what is being said? Why wasn't Slop sent off? Aubameyang did something like that, ironically, against Crystal Palace. He sent off. So what the fuck? Pardon my language. What's going on? I care about equality. If that's the rules, that's the rules. Why is it one rule for one, 10 million for another? You know, and they move the goalposts every week. Again, it's a bit different, but why the hell is Bruno Fernandes's goal standing? It's a terrific goal from Cavani and that, you know. But again, the goalposts shift all the time according to matches. We've sat here and there's been too many identical incidences, and there's one reason why something happens in that, and another reason, you know. And then they give you someone on BT who's refereed before, and he don't even believe the crap he's talking about or spouting off. It's an absolute joke. They're not going to stop until a player is seriously injured, bro. And it annoys me, because whether I rate a player or not, they're not going to stop, man. You know, every team does feel it's against them. But are you seeing half of these things? Like, all I care about is safe health and safety. And again, if I scroll down and show you like something, you know, big up Bazaar, who I don't know who that is, but I saw this image floating around on Twitter, so I thought I'd copy and paste it, people. For me, again, I don't know how a lot you can see, but again, how many decisions? That's the one. Again, Trent, I don't think there was malice in that, but obvious, that one from Trent. How he escaped that, I don't know. Mane's had a couple against Arsenal. We all know the David Luiz one. How the hell that wasn't rectified? Bruno, I think that one's forcing it, but nonetheless, how Slop isn't sent off for that. Aubameyang did something like that and was sent off. Look, he's all over. Bro, it's over his ankle. Again, there's no malice from Slop, but it doesn't mean it's reckless. It's not reckless. Look at that. That could have been a career finisher. And I don't think Benteke should be sent off, but based on how VAR is going, when you rise up your hand and do stuff like that, I've seen man sent off for that. So why is he not sent off? You know, I do think we're owed an explanation. It's not making no sense, and it's doing my head in, really. You know, I'm not here to focus on when Arsenal lose, VAR played a part, but especially when it comes to health and safety, look at this. Man, look at that. Look at this. How a man busting case for the Saka one? Seriously. Look at this. Look at the Slop thing. How have you got a red card from that? Mane does it every week against us. Bruno, again, the same logic applies, man. It's an absolute shambles, man. And until something changes, someone's leg's going to get broken at Arsenal. Listen, touch wood, it don't happen. Someone's going to get seriously injured before this happens. It's the same rhetoric that allowed those thugs from Birmingham City to get away with what they got away with. Or Stoke City, by God's grace. Well, no, big up Birmingham, but Stoke go as far as into the abyss as they can. Fuck Stoke City, pardon my language. But yeah, man, like, it's ridiculous. And I think it's the unconscious bias. Historically, Arsenal cheating, historically, Arsenal being soft. These things are disallowing referees on top of incompetence for making the right decisions, people. That's the rant over. Big up everybody locked in. Please make sure you hit the like button, people. I know I started early, but I started early to get that one there off my chest. We're going to get into Buendia, but just before that, a quick message from my sponsor. Shout out to everyone. Yeah, as you can see, links in the description, links also put up in the live chat, man. So yeah, man, referee ran over, VAR ran over, but for me, it's just health and safety. It's just health and safety. No, Omar, you're wrong in that regards. What have you said? VAR needs to be scrapped. How Benteke and Slop didn't see red yesterday is scandalous. Bro, it's nothing with VAR. It's the people using it. VAR, I hear you, Tamina, you know, I can't disagree. VAR is a joke, but I say that myself, but it's the people using VAR. It's not VAR, it's how it's being implemented that's costing people. You know, it's an absolute shambles, an absolute shambles. But anyways, how are you lot doing? Shout out all the members, shout out all the viewers, shout out all the supporters and all of those sort of things. That was just something I would have liked to get off my chest. That's actually why I started a bit early. Like I said, I'm kind of pressed for time. Shout out all the members, K, Fadi, Claudius, Danny, I see you lot. You know, if there's more, I'll obviously scroll down. Peter's in the building. Like he said, good morning, sports fans. Make sure you're hitting the like button. You're checking out the pin message because I'm going again later as well. There's 125 of you. There's only 67 likes though, man. That's appalling, people. Keep pushing that one, man. So yeah, man. Please let me know your opinions in relation to Odegaard and Buendia. Well, Buendia really, because Odegaard's relevant but not relevant. You know, man are saying I'm taking Buendia over Odegaard all day. I Faddy with the comment so far. Different players, in my opinion. I think they could all coexist together, but as an Arsenal fan, you can't be greedy. To be fair, Odegaard has just as much Premier League assists in half the time. Buendia and Odegaard, that's what we need if we want to move forward and control games. Fair comments, fair comments. S is saying Odegaard has been our most creative player when you look at all the creative metrics and stats since he came in. Fans turned on him since the injury. I don't think fans have turned on him. I think he's been one of the most creative, but I'm pretty sure by that same logic, you can find a lot of creativity in relation to Smith Rowe and how he's the most. So let's be real. I think the truth is bringing Odegaard in the last 6 months of the season, given somehow Smith Rowe being given an opportunity in December, it highlights the lack of creativity that wasn't there. And it highlights where, although it's not as easy to say this, where would we be if we very quickly got someone in the summer or introduced Smith Rowe earlier? And it just shows, you know, what creative players could do for you, in my opinion. You know, shout out to Life from Planet X holding it down for the Australian ones. You know, Kevin, apologies. Shout out to the Trinidad Gooners out there. Omar is saying, Buendia's quality, I would take him. Who wouldn't, man? Who wouldn't? VAR's agenda against Arsenal is real, especially since the Super League was announced, bro. I said to my sister when the ESL was announced, it would happen too. I don't think the Super League has any relevance because they've been on that F3 to us from day dot, man. Day dot. In the words of Arsene Wenger, there's a reason why they're not even our refs. I'm not even saying the R word. None of them refs go to major tournaments. Really, truly, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Alex, I don't think. Yeah, well, what you said there, I don't think you're listening because I've said it's not VAR, it's the referees how it's essentially being used, man. Football has been gone for a long time since the handball rule. I'm starting a new campaign. VAR cost us Europe. I hear it, but I can't get behind it because we cost ourselves, man. We cost ourselves that position. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, man. I I like Buendia and believe he can go up a few levels and would be a smart computer signing from Edu and can play multiple positions, unlike Odegaard. To be fair to you, that's not necessarily fair to Odegaard because he can play as an 8, he can play as a 10, he can do a job out wide. But for me, Buendia, you know, he can play as that 10. People forget he could be used on the right-hand side, and you know, Arteta, that would appeal to him. I personally feel Buendia has the potential to learn to dictate games from deeper, and I won't go as far as to say deep lying playmaker, but I see no reason why he can't be a little Santi Cazorla when it's needed, if that makes sense. Do you get it? But again, the problem is for me, I just don't want to, in the same way I think we rely on Smith Rowe. Obviously, he's a creative man. You're going to rely on that same way you're relying on your goalie to catch. But I just think we rely on Smith Rowe and Odegaard when they're there by themselves a bit too much, in the same way we thought Partey or the club bringing in Partey just fixes everything in midfield. Gabriel defensively, it's not as like that. I don't want a single facet of the team. I want creativity all day. I want creativity in abundance, if that makes sense. But I hear that, man. We need depth as well, man. Odegaard is overrated and doesn't pass the eye test. I think that's very harsh, man. I think he defo passes the eye test. You know, he's a good player. Defo don't feel he's overrated. Just there needs to come he just needs to show a lot more, in my opinion. But I do think fans are being a bit mad, man. See you getting that coin. I wish, man. I wish, bro. I wish. You know. Yeah, it's such a shame. Mo Turkish were the best on AFTV. Again, I don't, you know me, I don't do the gossip and the drama thing, but can someone update me as to what that is in relation to Mo and Turkish? Shout out to Turkish. I don't know what's going on there with AFTV, but shout out to Mo, shout out to Turkish, shout out to Robbie and AFTV. I don't know for all these politics or whatever it is, man. Buendia means good day in Spanish. Hope you all blessed. Hey, that just tells you some things are made to be. You bring Buendia to the club. For me, I want Buendia first and foremost. The man's a baller, innit? That's it. He's passed the balling test. You can pass the ball. You're a good footballer. In theory, you play with better players. We should get the most out of it. The problem is for me, when it comes to Buendia, not really for me like that, but how much is Donny going to cost? Because again, good players are never available in a sense. Obviously, every player has a price. Obviously, clubs pick up big players off bigger clubs. Obviously, you know where I'm getting at. Danny and you lot are smart enough. But if we look at it like this, nobody wants to sell. If you've got an asset that's good and helps your team and whatnot, you don't want to sell them. You know, Norwich didn't want to sell him last season. They probably didn't want to get rid of Jamal Lewis or Ben Godfrey, but everyone's got a price. They need to keep flipping peas, you know. They probably said to Buendia, we don't get promoted, you can F off. Now they're probably saying you can still leave, but why would you want to go Arsenal? Don't you want to stay, do a madness in the Prem? A bigger team might come for you. I think Buendia is on moving, but I just think I think people need to be real. Arsenal have more of a chance of getting him than people give credit for. We have more of a chance of tempting him, but you know, there's a level playing field for clubs. Clubs are not bullied anymore. You know, you know, you're seeing what Leicester's charging for players and the rest of it. So if you want Buendia, you have to pay top money because he's central to their plans. He helped them get promoted. So why wouldn't you want to see what he's on in the Premier League for you? They're going to have to bring in a replacement, which obviously messes up their thing. And to be honest, the way Norwich are as a football club, I'm pretty sure they've got that Buendia replacement lined up. You know, they're going to make a healthy profit on him. They spent like 2 odd million. I'm on it. Because, you know, he's an intelligent footballer. He can play a lot of roles. He complements the squad and he can be a difference maker. You know, for me, you give them the 30, 40, whatever they want. Just do that. You know, again, many people will say he's actually not Premier League proven in the sense of he didn't set the Premier League alight. He set the Championship alight. No one was really screaming his name. You knew he's a good player, but no one was screaming his name. So just I don't really believe this, but that's something to consider. He still ain't really proven it consistently at the top level. That might be something people are waiting for. But for me, you know, first and foremost, he's better than what a lot of what we have. So that dispels that for me. Personally, I think he's a good player. Obviously, he can deliver a set piece. He can play a number of roles. He wants to be the difference maker. You know, you're seeing it almost week in, week out for Norwich in the Championship. While I don't want to just rely on Buendia, he can help us. And for me, I think you need a Buendia, an Odegaard on loan again. Maybe I'm being greedy, but a Buendia, for me, you need two minimum, but you know, maybe I'm being greedy and it won't happen. But if it just in terms of speculation, I would love a Buendia for 30, 40. You bring me a little hour as well for 30 million. You know, that's 60, 70 million there. You get the Basuma one done. That's 3 quality midfielders to go with Partey. And you know, you've got options there of a 2 6s. You know, there's many options you can do. And what I like about Buendia is, you know, it's forcing it, but you could play him off the right, have a little hour as a 10. I mean, as an 8, have Odegaard in the 10 or Smith Rowe in the 10 or do whatever in it. We've seen Odegaard and Smith Rowe play out wide. Not everybody needs to play. Obviously, if you've got a Basuma or a 6 and a 6 to go with Partey, there's games to do that in. We need to fix up the midfield, man. We need options. First and foremost, we need a competent 11. So yeah, man, I don't think fans have turned on anyone, but fair play, you know, really, you know, if you talk to 3 man and they tell you that they don't rate Odegaard, is that the fans or is that your immediate circle? Really and truly, it is what it is. E.g., if Odegaard and Buendia cost the same price, who you picking? I'm more of a Buendia fan still, but I don't want to sound reactionary. I'm happy with either one. I'd rather take. I guess the more educated risk probably would be Odegaard because he's played in the top level higher. You know, the one thing that goes against Buendia is he actually hasn't done it at the top level. One thing that I think would go against Buendia as well is, listen, I don't want to get onto Arteta, but you ain't really got the best out of, you know, the attackers already. So are you going to get the best out of them? It's all fun and games saying buy Buendia and that, but you buy him, how are you going to use him? How is it, you know, how are you going to get the ball further up the field so he can connect with the strikers? Because you can't just sign a creative man, slap them on the pitch and think it solves everything. Or by that logic, Smith Rowe and Odegaard, who have pulled their weight, they'd solve all the questions. It's just not like that. So, and like I said, you know, I haven't seen anything from I know he said he needs pre-season and all these things, but I haven't seen nothing from a footballing sense to say, all right, cool, you get that creator. I'm going to see mad creativity because we're not fashioning chances, but I would like to see that happen, man. I would like to see that happen. DD has said 6:30 a.m. in Toronto and Deluded still up before me right now. Most consistent YouTuber. I appreciate that. I don't know if I'm the most consistent YouTuber, but I know I'm damn hungry to make it. So it is what it is. We keep going. So yeah, man, let me actually get into the goal.com article via Charles Watts that was actually in relation to Buendia and whatnot. Let me scroll up all the way. Let me stop being rude. Give you first-time viewers a chance to see. But people, please make sure you're hitting that like button before I continue. Where we at? 115 likes. Keep running that one up, man. There's 200 odd of you in here, so a couple people not doing their jobs. Shout out to Charles Watts, though. He said Arsenal step up when Buendia interest amid Odegaard and amid Odegaard uncertainty. Odegaard, who said he's happy at Arsenal, however, still owned by Real Madrid, and we need to talk. We already know that. You know, Arsenal don't have a buy option. We need to see how Real Madrid see him. We have to see what Odegaard sees, because I'm pretty sure he's in two minds. I'm pretty sure he wants to stay here. I'm pretty sure he wants to go back to Madrid. So he needs to make a choice. And to be honest, not making a choice is making a choice. I'm very wary of these transfer business stuff because, like I said, people, good players are not really available. Norwich have no reason to sell Buendia. Everyone's got a price. If the player says I want to go, that makes things different. But you're going to have to put money down. And when you look at a lot of our signings, people, we're not really forcing them out of their clubs. You know, Partey, they wanted to keep him, but the release clause made it, you know, an advantage for us. Half of the names we've been linked with, you know, we've brought in Cedric, we've brought in we've been linked with Bertrand. With respect to Matt Ryan, he was has a foot out the door at Brighton. A couple of players have been like that. David Luiz was a good serviceman. Lampard told you it's done there. Do you get it, people? Not too many of these players have you know, we've wanted them and they've come and stuff. Obviously, we've bought Pepe, but again, Leo are a selling club, so there's a bit of a edge in that. And I'm also wary when you see the new shirts coming out, season tickets up for renewal, and when you hear rumors of war chest, Kroenke's gonna do this in the market, that in the market. We're in for Aouar, we're chatting to Odegaard, we're looking at this defender. Buendia interest. I'm very wary of all of this. This needs to correlate to actually bringing them in, really and truly. For me, this move, you know, if you want him, go and get it done, because you tried to do it in January. Go and get it done, people. But let's see what Charles has said, man. Big up Charles Watts. Danny has said the Charles Watts DG collab would be levels one day. Charles, if you're listening, you know what to do. DG's name got to be first, though. I don't know about all that, though, Danny, but we already know this, innit? Arsenal are on the lookout for a new playmaker this summer, and technical director Edu is keen on Norwich City's Argentine star. You know, Arsenal are stepping up their pursuit of Emiliano Buendia as they look at alternatives to Martin Odegaard this summer. I hear it. We need to look for alternatives, because if Real Madrid say, you know what, we're keeping him, we're pissed, pardon my language. But same way, I'm being greedy in it, because beggars can't be choosers. But I think he need both, or if not the names, the roles that they do. Because Buendia, for me, he can play as a 8 long term. I see no reason for that. Play as a traditional 10. Use him as an inverted playmaker, obviously. And for me, you know, I'm sure he wants to prove people wrong, because many people say you ain't done it in the Premier League. We know you're a good player. We've seen it, but we've seen it in the Champs. So proven, I won't go as far as to say that, but this can give you it. Why I'm not worried is because ballers, you know, a ballers can play in it. He's an intelligent footballer. It's not like he's in a system that hides deficiencies. It's not like he relies on pace or strength. He's a technical footballer. He's got a brain. He thinks. For me, you can play anywhere in it. You can do anything. So I see no reason as to why, hypothetically, if he did sign, we'd be a success. I mean, he wouldn't be a success. And as you lot know, apparently we've watched him on countless occasions during his three-year term at Carroll Road. Arsenal are yet to make an official offer for Buendia. Now, obviously, that first sentence tells you everything. We ain't put an offer down. There is nothing. But at the same time, the season isn't finished. It is what it is. So there's a lot of stuff to be done. And I'm sure Buendia's camp will have a long talk. Do I want to stay at Norwich? Do I want to leave? It's up to him, people. And I'm sure he doesn't want to, not that it's a burn bridges thing, but I'm sure he wants to, you know, leave through the front door, not leave as a snake. But apparently he's moved up to the top of our list for playmaking targets as discussions inside the club ramp up ahead of the summer transfer window. We already know Odegaard has spent the second half of the season on loan, people, and Arteta is hopeful we can keep the Norway international for at least another year. He's got 2 years left on his deal, so one would wonder, surely Real Madrid say you're not leaving unless you commit a new deal and you go on loan, because that protects them having a future asset, and it also strengthens their negotiation hands if they choose to sell Donny. So there's a decision, and apparently Zidane, like you lot know, he's expected to move naturally. If your manager that wasn't playing you leaves and a new manager comes in, you're gonna want to try your luck there. So we'll have to see, people. For me, whether it's Odegaard, Aouar, Buendia, listen, bring them in, because I don't want to see Lacazette 10, Willian 10, Definitely not Ceballos for a third year in the 10. I don't want to see nonsense, you know, and I don't think it's fair. Saka can do the 10 thing, but I don't think it's fair to rely on Saka and Smith Rowe to the degree we have, even if they were experienced players. It's not healthy. There's 38 Premier League games, and we might not be in Europe, to put it nicely, but typically, if you're going to be in Europa League, the Premier League, that's 38 games minimum in the league, at least 6 in the group stages in the Europa League. You need different options, injuries, loss of form, different tactics. People don't understand it's a squad game. Now, Arsenal's first 11 isn't 30, so you can see it. Apparently, Arsenal are looking at other options. We're looking at Fekir. You know, we should have grabbed Donny when he was playing at the Emirates Cup, right wing for Lyon that time, and almost scored a banger. Apparently, Goal has learned that technical director Edu has started to step up the club's interest in Buendia, who is keen on making the move to North London. Now, if we look at Partey, apparently we wanted Partey from Emre time, but if we look at what we was told via rumours, apparently Arteta wanted both of them. I'm talking about Partey and Aouar now last summer, but if it came to it, he wanted more Aouar. Edu allegedly wanted Partey. I don't know if that's true, but I remember sitting there and reading the articles. So if my point being, if Edu gets his way, you know, he's kind of vetoing Arteta. So if this is the guy you want, this is the guy you want. And, you know, last player, I was told abundantly clear what that Arteta wanted, you know, he might be going to MLS. Apparently, one of Arsenal's priorities this summer is to add more creativity to the squad that has struggled to break teams down this season. They view Buendia, who has just been named the Championship's Player of the Season, as someone who can come in and make a real difference during next season. He's 24 years of age, so he's not near his peak. We all know he's had an exceptional season. We all know in 39 apps, he's bagged 17 assists and grabbed 15 goals. That's more than any other player in the division. Championships are a hard league to be consistent. There's a lot of games, so I'm not belittling it, but I need to see it correlate. You know, what gives me more of a say, more confidence is obviously I want a man that can score and get assists. We ain't got too many of them. But again, this is what gives me more hope, because when you look at Arsenal's metrics in terms of final passes, lack of breaking down teams and all of those things, when I hear a man's completed more through balls, completed more final third passes, creates big chances, these sort of things gives me hope, because if he comes and he creates a bag of them, we should score a lot, and other men do it. It's a game of averages. Look at yesterday, bro. We never had we had a shot in the 35th minute and didn't have a shot on target after that until the 90th. At one point, we were 70 minutes in, one shot on target. Football's a game of fine margins, as Arteta says, but he never takes heed of the fact of, you know, we should be creating hella chances. You know, them goals we scored, they should last night, they should be a byproduct of creating a million chances a game. You know, you don't shoot, you don't score. You ain't got creative players. You ain't got players that can shut up in the defensive aspect. You can't do anything serious as a club. So that's what, obviously I want a man to score and assist. But when I hear big chances created through balls, possession, passes, this is what is an Arsenal player to me, because that tells me he's confident in himself. You know, it's all fun and games to be able to do things. But how many footballers have you seen try a mad pass? It's terrible and they don't try it again. I need a man that has the confidence when it's not going well to keep trying it. Consistency, you know. I want him to score and get an assist, but some creative players, them things there don't do them justice. As long as he can dictate the tempo of the game, demands the ball, can break down a low block, I'm cool with his addition, people, because we're bleeding, you know. With respect to El Nene, I don't want to rely on El Nene, Partey, you know, even Basuma and Partey can pass the ball, but that's not their job. I think we'll be bleeding if we're relying on them to create, you know. I hear what people are saying, Basuma and Partey. I think we need an option of that. But if that's the only default levels pivot we've got, we're going to put even more expectation on the Smith Rowes and man like that. So when I get from this is Buendia is confident, competent and consistent. They're the 3 C's. Typically at Arsenal, too many men, as I said yesterday, they don't have all of those. They're either confident, they're just not consistent, or competent. They might be competent, they don't have the other one. So that gives me a lot. But like I said, there's no offer on the table. So this is all hypothetical. And leading into the next bit of this article, we've yet to table an offer for Buendia. And Norwich are believed to want around 40 million for the attacking midfielder. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He's just been called up by Argentina. So on top of having a great season in the Championship, Norwich being promoted, him being central to Norwich's plans, and 40 million, you know, if you want him, you're going to need to pay the money. Do I think 40 million is a bit excessive? Yes. Can we find it at the 35 mil region? And again, not to bring Joe Willock in, and shout out to Joe Willock for obviously bagging yesterday. I don't really want to sell Joe Willock, but if selling Joe for a 25, 30 means you can tie up these Buendias and all these other names, Basuma and all these guys, then these are necessary evils. But as you see, there's no reason for Norwich to sell. You've got to make them an offer they can't refuse. Every player has a price, but they've got no reason to sell. You know, and I'm sure they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna bring in players. You'd imagine they would. They've got their own transfer plans, and obviously they're obviously considering a reality where Buendia moves on, but you'd imagine somewhat they're hopeful he stays. So by that logic, he should be kind of, you know, you're building your team around them. So you're going to put a spanner in that work. So you've got to make it worth their while. They want apparently 40 million. Make sure you're hitting the like button and tell me what you lot think of that 40 million. Would you lot pay 40 million for him? Shout out Roy Hodgson, but we ain't trying to listen to that, my guy. Pause that. Speaking earlier this month about the prospect of selling Buendia, Norwich boss Daniel Fark said, of course, if one of the best clubs in the world wants Emmy as a starter and makes an unbelievable offer, then it could be a realistic solution for all parties. And that's it, unbelievable offer. That's it, you know. I'd still think we're one of the best teams in the world on reputation and whatnot, maybe not in ability, but you want the guy, put the money on the table. And this is where we cannot stumble in the summer and start freestyling. Oh, let's go for Buendia. Oh, let's go for Aouar. We should be knowing what we're doing. Okay, Aouar is available for 30 mil. We put him at this place on our target. We want Buendia, cool, 40 million. How are we getting that 40 mil? Is Kroenke putting it in? Are we selling players? Are we doing it before? Simple as that. We need to know what we're doing. If there is a club who want to put some crazy offers out, then maybe you use this to help the club in the future. But as head coach, my first thought is to work further on key players. So they probably have an indirect agreement to sell him if it does happen. But you've got to make it worth their while. It's as simple as that. No money means you ain't doing it really and truly, people. So I want it to happen, but beyond just being an article, it's not staying there, man. Really and truly. When DM Bissouma are the type of players Newcastle buy, Arsenal is too good for them, in my opinion. I think that's harsh, and I think where we're at, I don't really think we can do that. We need players that can just do a job, people. Aouar isn't consistent. Don't think you watch the player. He's definitely not a flair player. So I don't know what you're on about, but you're allowed your opinion. Big up DG. Big up all of you lot. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Suma and Partey when we have less possession works. And this is what we need, the options, people. That's it. When we're games where we're going against a City and we're going to get bullied for possession, you need industry. But how with them, you know, do you need Bissouma and Partey on a pitch, Crystal Palace away or home, based on how those games went? You probably don't. Maybe one starts and you bring one on to see out the game, but you need more expansive midfielders. You need a squad that complement each other. And I don't think we have, man. I don't think we have, man. And I do reading some of your comments. I do think you lot are all running agendas. I think it's certain some of you are too much in the Aouar camp, too much in the Odegaard camp, too much in the Buendia camp. You know, just see the players for what they are, man. So we'll have to see what happens, man. Edu, you better not let me down, bro. I've got no hope because I've been. What has changed? That article, realistically, we read it, and I'm here on YouTube talking about it. But is it any different from what we heard in January? We're always trying to buy Buendia, trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do the other. Just make things happen, man. Oh yeah, man. Do you believe Willock could fill in Buendia's role? At Arsenal or Norwich, I think Willock can have a role, but I don't know for Norwich. You'd have to ask a Norwich fan. I personally wouldn't big up Joe Willock, but that is quite a downgrade going from having Buendia to relying on Joe Willock. Really, I think Neves is a baller, but we ain't grabbing him from Wolves. Odegaard is going to cost us too much money to bring him in on a permanent deal. He's got a year left or 2 years left, so maybe it won't, but who knows, man. Big up yourself, TW. This is it now. Any of these players improve us, man. Any of them, man. Bring back Willock, play him next to Partey at the base. Jeffrey, that's terrible, man. I'm a fan of Joe Willock, but come on, man. We're not going to get top four if that's our first choice midfield pivot. It's not going to work. It can be used, but it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Man said keep Basuma as, but that's terrible. That's so fucking terrible. I respect everyone's opinion, but that's a terrible shout. Suma, Al, and Buendia are far better than what we have. Shawnee, I agree, man. You know, Toby, 100%. Wonder where this elitism is coming from with fans. A good player is a good player. The objective shouldn't be to spend ridiculously, but to buy smart. Exactly. Buy the right players when required. Simple as that, man. Respect everyone's opinions, but some man are throwing some shockers out here, bro. Like, hey. And say, I big up that little kid who signed for Arsenal, but yeah, but I hear that. I like when Milinkovic Savic, but it ain't gonna be a thing, is it? Like beyond paper talk isn't gonna happen. One of you is saying, DG, go check Charles Watch's page, news on Kroenke. If you're capping, you're gonna get blocked. If it's not significant, because again, you lot do not get my hopes up about what is it, propaganda piece? Please be something about them leaving. It's nothing to do with that, but we gotta make a change that to English for me, please, Google, and we can get into that. One sec, people, because we've got to make a new timestamp for that. Aye, Diego, apologies. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Might have to become a moderator. That was clutch. That was clutch. DB10 on Daniel Ek / Silent Stan. Got to have these sly comments for these owners and whatnot. So yeah, let me share the screen with you lot. Obviously, if it don't make sense, it's because it's gone from Dutch to English. So if I'm sounding dyslexic, shout out to my dyslexic people out there. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Before I get into that, Buendia would be a step in the right direction. That's why I don't think it will happen. Hey man, there's good logic to that, really and truly. Arsenal season ends again on a bad note this week with a final ranking in the middle bracket of the Premier League, well below the London club. And so something has to be done. Although his first offer was recently declined, Spotify owner Daniel Ek wants to continue with his acquisition plans. The Swedish multi-billionaire has played an important role for club legends Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, and Patrick Vieira. Off topic, shout to Dennis Bergkamp, who rightly so has been, pardon me, inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame. You know, I see 3 players there who are all Premier League legends. 2 of them have been inducted. I can't believe Tony Adams isn't there. I could be wrong on that. And I can't believe Patrick Vieira isn't there. Do the right thing, Premier League. You know, I'm sorry, but Gerrard before Vieira, the man didn't even won the trophy. Bergkamp, anyways, provides text and explanation. He said, when did you decide to intervene at Arsenal? After I left the club, I always kept in touch with Thierry and Patrick. And of course, I continue to follow the games of Arsenal. I've played an important part of my career there. I've had a testimonial there. The club is in my heart. I've become a fan of the players. I just like Patrick and Thierry. I recognize the Arsenal from our time less and less, you and me both. The ambition to win prizes is in Arsenal's DNA, never accepting losses. Well, we are accepting losses and we don't have any DNA, Bergkamp. We're dying, man. That mentality has slowly disappeared. I sense resignation about the current situation. That is serious, as if given the financial situation, it is normal for Arsenal to end in the middle bracket. That does not belong to this club. Arsenal's DNA must be restored. Facts. And I hear all of it. But when I get down to the nuts and bolts, I haven't learned anything based on this takeover offer or anything. 340 people locked in. Hit the like button, people. I haven't learned anything yet. I know that he loves the club. We all know that we don't reflect anything close to Arsenal, and we know the financial situations. He then said, how and when did contact with Daniel Ek come about? Daniel has been an Arsenal fan all his life, a real shout to him. You ain't known him his whole life, but shout to him. He also appeared to be worried about the downturn at the club for some time. When the Super League dominated the news for days, Daniel just about exploded. That was when he wanted to continue and contact us. During a Zoom meeting with Thierry, Patrick and I, he shared his concerns and plans with us. That made an impression from the first moment. It immediately became clear to me how deep the supportership is with Daniel. I think that's important. Daniel doesn't see a takeover as buying a nice toy. On the contrary. So obviously a bit of this is to sing Daniel's praises, and we're all on it, man. You know, Daniel, hopefully the second bid is successful. We all know we're at a very early stage in getting the Kroenkes out and things like that. Apologies, people. Let me zoom in a bit because I've just realized that must have been terrible for you guys to try and see for those that like to read. So again, it is bullish talk, but again, you know, I haven't really learned much. Let's carry on, people. He said, Yeah, so it's nice to know that he won't use it as a toy and things. He said he understands the passion of a football fan because he is one himself, something Kroenke is not. He also wants to significantly increase the influence of fans, something that is obviously gonna a day and age where we think we have less of a voice and things like that. That's something that's obviously going to be music to the ears of fans, among other things, by giving them a place in the club management. Now, you're never going to see Larry, the Arsenal fan, be able to make decisions, but it's nice to have some representative of some level just to ensure voices are heard. Daniel likes transparency as well. That's the most important thing I've heard, because we don't see transparency from this football club. We're told one thing, reflected another. All I care about is actions. I don't really care about what you lot say, because it seems like we're very politicianary, if that's a word. We know how to answer questions, we know how to speak in riddles, but when the spotlight is shined, when everything that you've done in the dark comes to light, when it's time to doing is an expensive currency that we haven't got a conversion rate for. Talk is cheap, and our talking dollars are not converting to physical outputs. You do what you're meant to under promise and over deliver. We over promise and under deliver. There's too much lip service. Anyways, people, we like he said, I like transparency as well. Just look at how he communicates about this via Twitter, clear to everyone. And obviously Bergkamp, this is his doggy now, so he's going to sing his praises and be pro Daniel. We're never going to find out any skeletons about Daniel's closets. Another important point is that Daniel understands Arsenal's problems cannot be solved just like that. And that is what I'm saying. We're not going to be solved overnight. For the owner who's coming in, it's going to be a loser's game, because, we've got so much mismanagement at all levels. You're going to have to kind of put a lot in, if not necessarily money, but time, implementing people that can do the right practices. You're not going to see the fruits of your labor. And for Daniel to make Stan Kroenke go, you're going to have to overpay. So the context is, I've just said, you're going to have to consider and potentially overpaying people. This is why you need to love the club, or if not love the club, really have a passion for football. Because I think Roman Abramovich loved Chelsea when he bought it? Of course not. He's come to love it, obviously because of the fans and what they're doing, but because of his own ego and what he wants to do. So this is what you're going to need from Daniel anyways, people, because we just want to know that we can see the end of the tunnel. There's a glimmer of light. Let's get through the dark list now, because it just seems like we're going through a dark tunnel. No one's got a flashlight. Everybody's phone's dead. Some men are saying it's that way. Someone are saying it's that way. Some people are saying they're scared. Some people are losing their brain. Ultimately, not everybody's going to make it out the other side, which is concerning people. We're not all singing from the same hymn sheet. So yeah, he understands that Arsenal's problems cannot be solved just like that. Pumping in some extra money and firing the trainer, for example, will not get you there. Hey man, giving the manager some new money, or going above the manager and having people that are going to buy players that he can work with that are levels, it would help us on But I agree. If Arsenal wants to be at the top next season, they'll have to reach a world top in every line. While the club has long lacked the appeal for this category of players, hence structural changes must take place. This is the backbone of Arsenal. This is a far-reaching long-term project, 100%. Where do you start if Arsenal's working methods have to be changed deep down? It starts from the top. You strike the shepherd, listen, if you go after a farm and something happens to the shepherd, the sheep are not going to last after a point. You get rid of a sheep, and next sheep are going to be reproduced. If you look at the sheep as the Wengers, the Glazides, sorry, Wenger and all these guys, Raul, these guys are sheep. Mislintat, whether they agreed with him or not, these guys have been here. We've seen different men, but the shepherd has stayed the same. This is it. You want the farm to change, how it has to be from the top. You look at Chelsea, them and they want to be winners. So again, there's expectation, there's accountability. Arsenal, we've got an owner who doesn't care, just leaving inexperienced people to their own devices. And Arteta, he's making mistakes, and I don't think he's being pulled up on it. He's got a lot good. I do think Arteta can come good, but he's not being provoked to make proper decisions, because if you had an owner who cared, you stop seeing things like at a point we played 35 games, there's been 34 different lineups, the many little things Arteta has done, they're picked up on. It just feels like he's left to his own devices, and Arteta is probably the last person I've got blame for. I blame the owners, I blame these players way before I blame Arteta. But that being said, there's a lot of questions for Arteta to answer for. But if everyone's got that healthy bit of pressure on their back, they all perform better. Arteta knew he was going to get the luxuries to hide behind of no preseason, the team and all these things. I'm not saying they're not excuses, but maybe if there was pressure on him, not only would he be given that luxury, but then it would really be made, be made to understand that, okay, cool, come May, you've got to show me a DNA. You've got to show me a team where I can say, cool, I see what you're trying to do, but this player isn't good enough. That player isn't good enough. Bring you this, bring you that. Because right now, We've improved defensively, but I don't know if you get better defenders, we're going to improve defensively, because on many metrics we have, but the ones that I look at, you know, the minutes you've conceded goals, the sheer amount of goals you've conceded, the errors leading to goals, these are all concerning. Now, we know these players aren't levels, but do you get it? I haven't seen anything to say with that. You know, Arteta, again, arguably, you know, one problem Arsenal shouldn't have is attackers, and not really one attacker has excelled consistently this season, or they've all had problems, and a part of that's got to be on the manager. But again, if there is somebody asking proper questions, then that's going to trickle down from the owner. Then Edu's going to sit there and be like, Arteta, you need to show something. I'm not lying, but it's my job or your job. These guys are on me. You've got to show me something. I don't know. But yeah, man, he said that, man. He said that you have to start at the top. Hence, an acquisition is crucial so that the club can continue with an owner who understands that a football club should not be run like a company. On many elements, it should. I'm not going to lie. You can't have too many businessmen. You can't have too many footballmen. It should be run like a business, but it's not being. Arsenal's problem is it's not run like an elite business. You know, this is Kroenke. If you care about it, you make sure you get top dollar. Who lets Alexis Sanchez rejects 60 million and lets him go for free? Who lets Aaron Ramsey 40 million go for free? Who lets Gnabry walk for free? And the many poor practices with the coach, with the contracts. Again, if you're meant to be self-financing these things, and you care about, you know, the club's meant to make you a buck, these are the things that are minimal. You know, these are the coaches, you know. But again, problems. Need man that understand the club 100%. Man and women that understand this club, people. It should be run like a company, really, and it should be run like a football club. No matter how much money is involved in English football, Arsenal is and will remain a football club, which must always be managed as such in all layers of the club. The two are intertwined. Let's be honest, you know, because again, we'd suffer commercially. The problem is we need businessmen who are footballing men. Fundamentally, they're football fans. They know this thing. They might happen to have went Harvard or whatever. They're footballing men. You know, I get the what's the word? The impression that, you know, you chat to a lot of these guys. They play polo, water polo, all these other sports, all these rich boy sports. They don't know a damn thing about football. You know, we could be the only team in red and play Spurs in white, and I think Kroenke would ask which one's Arsenal. That's just me and the people involved. Are there any similarities with Cruyff's revolution 10 years ago at Ajax, in which you played a pioneering role? Shout out to Bergkamp. The need for changes, the leading role of football, the great ambitions that we want to bring back. These are indeed parallels. But at Arsenal, I am not looking for a resolution. We really hope that we can talk to the current owners in a good way. We don't want to harm anyone. It's not about us personally. This revolves around our views on an improved Arsenal. As players, we've contributed to the transition of boring Arsenal to a squad called the Invincibles. Thanks to that period, I have now been introduced to the Premier League into the Premier League Hall of Fame, which I'm extremely proud for. The quality, mindset, and passion of that time must once again become the norm, and that's true. Thierry, Patrick, and I have ideas about that which fit perfectly with Daniel's plans, 100%. First offer of nearly 2 billion euros has been rejected by the current owners, the Kroenke family. What now? He said, we can't force anybody to sell. And that's where our fans need to do our point. We just need to get them to where they're at their wits' end, and, you know, he sells. I understand that. And in addition to that offer, Daniel has now reached out twice to Josh Kroenke and his bankers. Whatever Kroenke's intentions are, it would be good if we can at least have a conversation with each other in the interest of the club. Regardless, Daniel is not a clear quitter, and neither are we football boys. We are here to stay. The crazy thing is that we cannot imagine how the current players feel, because we've always played for championships ourselves. We do know how the fans feel, but I can't lie, a lot of these players ain't good enough, and a lot of these players, I don't feel they're of the thinking, Bergkamp. Like, they're not with it. Some of these players are not hard done by. Tierney, Saka, Partey, Gabriel, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, you know, a couple of, I'll give Aubameyang and Leno the benefit of the doubts. Not best seasons, but typically they've done their job. They're the man that I feel are hard done by and deserve better. A lot of these other players, they not, you know, and there's obviously, you know, Pepe, Chambers, shout out to them. But a lot of these players aren't good enough. No, they're not good enough. And they hide behind the managers. They hide behind their own players. They don't push themselves to achieve greatness and a legacy in their own little way. A lot of them, I'm sure, are nice guys and are not bad players. But in isolation, with all of this, they're just not good enough. So that's the only part I've disagreed with. A lot of these players are not levels, people. But I hear that, and, you know, it is what it is. If the takeover succeeds, what exactly should your role and that of Omri and Vieira be? And this is it as well, because we need to know. And it's important that if you're You know, if you're coaching staff, you're coaching staff, you're not managers. You know, if you're whatever you're doing back staff, you're doing that, and they're not interlapping. This is where the problem gets there, because as much as they're all Arsenal men, let's be honest, he's Dennis Bergkamp, he's Thierry Henry, he's Patrick Vieira. They all have vested interests, like any human. They've all got vested interests and their own personal ambitions. So it needs to be made clear what these guys' roles are, and even if they're a coach, but they can influence the owner making decisions. And that, whether that could mean doing certain things with players and things, that could be a good thing. It could also be a great thing or a bad thing, because they've all got different ways of thinking. So provided no lines are blurred, it could be a great thing. But football passion and ambition must again be central. We have plenty of ideas about the technical details, but it makes little sense to anticipate them now. First, Daniel has to come to a takeover, and that's true. We get the takeover, then the plans come in. After that, it would make sense to use the knowledge we have gained during and after our careers. We are ready, and so is Daniel. Fans are thrilled. Now the current club management, I don't think it said anything else, but yeah, that's that. You know, like he said, we want to restore Arsenal's DNA. Thank you for that one, man. Shout out Dennis Bergkamp, DB10. You know, the non-flying Dutchman and that. You know, hopefully he comes. We can find an agreement for that. The man there said we already knew it was going to be a tough fight. The man there saying they're not selling the club, so it's gonna be a serious fight. And we're going to have to see what happens, people. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. What are you lot saying, though, before we cover some other stuff? Let's get into it. Come on, big up everybody locked in. That's where you need to hit. As Sandro said, there's 300 odd people locked in. There's only 200 likes, people. Make the like button match up. Obviously, as well, 5 p.m, I think. You know, I think 5 p.m, I'm going live again with my guy Art De Roche. So I'm going to drop the link. The link's in the pinned message of the live chat, but I'm also going to drop it here for you lot so you can set your reminders, hit the like button and all those sort of things. But what are you lot saying, people? I appreciate all the opinions coming in. I might not agree, I might disagree, but I appreciate everyone's opinions, and we must respect everyone's opinions. Would you take Maddison for 40 million? Yes. Great, I ain't seen you in a minute. You said the bias against Arsenal was happening from long ago and partly inspired the invincible season with a collective determination to overcome the bias from the powers that be. We will overcome by God's grace, man. Julian Brandt offers more than Buendia. Oh, I'm not too sure I agree with that one there, my guy. I don't think so, but I rate it. I like Brandt, and I wouldn't mind Brent. And this is it. This is why all things should be on the table with Joe Willock. There could be a reality where he comes back. I think he should, like I've been saying, and you've seen it come back, give him preseason, see what happens. I only want to sell Joe Willock if we're going to sell him to bring in Buendia and all these Basumas and things like that. I think it's a necessary evil. Apart from that, I think there's every reason he should be given a chance to earn a first team spot properly, you know, potentially be sold, go back on loan. It's up to Joe, because I'm sure he's got a million thoughts. Part of him probably wants to come back to Arsenal. Part of him probably wants to stay at Newcastle or go elsewhere. All options should be on the table. Like I said, we need a plan, and it's like what I've been saying in my live streams. It's the summer where we need to make tough decisions. Selling Joe might be the good or wrong decision. We will only know in a year, 6 months or whatever. But make a decision and double down on it, because as I keep saying, it seems like we're in the halfway house. 1 minute a player's on the way out, he might get an opportunity or something happens, he's now staying. A player's on the, a player isn't going to leave, then he's going to leave. Maitland-Niles kind of sums up that. Make decisions and double down on them. As long as you protect yourself, decent fees, sell-on fees, then it is what it is, people. Chelsea didn't die when they sold Kevin De Bruyne. Of course, they missed out. It's an L and whatnot, but the world kept spinning. It kept spinning. And this is it. It is what it is, man. Oh, a man said, do you really respect everyone's opinion, or do you use your platform to take shots at people you disagree with? I think you get upset and insecure when you hear something that doesn't agree with you. We've all admitted that Willock has had has played well, and like you said, 7 in 13. But there is a balance. You know, there's, like I said, there's people that don't rate him, there's people that do rate him. If you was to really scrutinize it and you look at the quality of the goals and you look at the games over the 90 minutes, I don't think it's as much as people are shouting out from. It's lovely that he's playing. Please don't get insecure, Jeffrey. I see you commenting all the time. Like I said, I respect everyone's opinion, but just because somebody doesn't agree doesn't mean you have to cry, my guy, man. Please don't do that. You know, if I wanted to take shots, I'll take shots. Like, you really don't know me in that regards. If I wanted to be disrespectful, my guy, you would see real disrespect. So please don't ever do that. That's one thing I hardly see, DG, though. Through balls which our forward front line could thrive off. Exactly. And it's only going to happen when it's in abundance, because teams have clocked us already. You know, they know left hand, we're very left hand centric, and they know Saka, Smith Rowe, players of that ilk, you lock them down, you crowd them out. Arsenal might not create anything, and I want to have a future where, yeah, Buendia can create from wherever, but the midfielders can create. You know, I always say we're not going to be there, but until we're of the thinking that our goalkeepers, our first attacker, our first defender is Aubameyang, Martinelli, Lacazette, whoever's playing through the middle, we're not going to get anywhere, because we don't press coordinated way. We don't build out from the back in a coordinated way. And I think a big part of that is the midfield. And that's where I look at, yeah, we haven't been able to bring players in and all of these sort of things, but hasn't quite been there. You know, you get where I'm going. Odegaard is a stiff baller. Buendia, much better option. Big up Deluded every time. Big up yourself, Cuzzy. I think that's harsh. Odegaard's not stiff. I just think he suffers from a bit of confidence, man. I just think he suffers from a bit of confidence, really and truly. Like, he just looks like a confidence man, and really we've got probably too many of those confidence, man, in my opinion. Bro, there is more freedom. You know, there's more space. The way Newcastle play is different. You know, if Joe Willock slapped in a low block, I haven't learned anything. I don't know if you can play a final ball. I don't know if you can play in a low block. What I'm seeing with Joe is what I know. You can score goals. That's an asset Arsenal don't have. You just needed a platform and you're a match winner. But when you look at these 90-minute games, you know, it's not like you're learning a lot. He's improving, a dramatically better player, or even he's answering the questions, because I know Joe can run in behind. I don't know if you can play a through ball when there is no space. We know when there's space, Joe can play well. And this is why I'm saying, while all options are very on the table, this is why I don't think you can just sit there and say Joe Willock ain't good enough, sell him. Joe Willock is the thing, keep him. This is all. You start acting like Jeffrey, really and truly, and acting like, you know, I'm doing him like I told him to suck his mum, really, when all it is a difference of opinion. Calm it down. You know, until them sort of things become an abundance, it's crazy, man. No way we can sell Willock. He's the only goal scoring midfielder we have, and Arteta likes him. He's different from Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli in that his development is slow but quite evident. But this is what I say. He could surprise a few people, man. Man said, Dennis, tell your son-in-law Van der Beek come to the carpet. Wouldn't mind Van der Beek, but I don't want to use the word soft in it, but like, when you've got him and Odegaard and all these things, they're technical ballers, but we need players that when it's not going their way, they're at it, man. That's just me anyways. Jeffrey's not crazy for that. You're allowed to think Buendia is better than ours better than Buendia. Respect opinions, you know. Don't force your opinions down other people's throats. Like, it's easy to look good in the Championship when Dia won going 36 games when Norwich was in the Premier League, and that's who we want. To be fair with you, we could probably do that for every player. To be fair, we always say we need to take chances on players. We need to do this, and then we kind of get scared. You're not wrong in that. I said that earlier in that, you know, Premier League, you didn't light it up again. But I don't think you can belittle the Championship, because there's some gems in the Championship, and you've seen a lot of them. As long as we've done our due diligence and he's a good player, then it doesn't matter if they're from League One, from any country, from the academy. You know, I just look for, you know, are you intelligent? You know, are you technically excellent? Do you think as a footballer? Is he reliant on one thing? Is he reliant on his pace? Is he reliant on service? Is he reliant on the strength? For me, it's none of these things. So personally, I see no reason why he can't succeed. But I do think it's easy to use that, okay, you know, championship tax, of course, but I don't think it is really easy to play in the championship. So I agree with you, but I also think you're a bit harsh, man, in that regards, man. Thoughts on somebody's comments gone. Somebody said thoughts on Ward Prowse. Wouldn't mind him again. He's a player that's, you know, he's not gonna what's the word? Apart from the mad free kicks, he's not going to make too many headlines, but he's competent and consistent. And this is it, bro. If you're watching Joe Willock, he's not necessarily playing amazing for the whole 90 minutes of Newcastle. This isn't me criticizing him. This is just me simply watching a man week in, week out and wanting to know what player we're returning. We're getting a more confident Joe Willock. We're getting a more consistent Joe Willock, but he still hasn't answered a lot of the questions I wanted him to answer when he went out on loan. But I do think people are writing off Donny for no reason. The only way Joe Willock is sold for me is if we can use him to obviously bring some peas in, man. Well, you lot are telling Jeff to chill out. I don't know what he said, but one of the moderators looks like they handled Donny, man. You know, trust me, start your own platform, bro. You know, man, just listen. Just stop crying, man. Like, man, after, bro, this is it. Bare insecurity. Pull your pants up, man. Like, man are males and they're crying like little girls, pardon my language, and not to sound outdated. Pull your pants up. So someone doesn't agree with you. So what? Nobody's right. No one's wrong. We're chatting about ball. And what annoys me about stuff like that is more time. Have you noticed in that example, people are not criticizing exactly what I'm saying. It's what he's thought he's heard. Because we actually agree on Joe Willock. Just in his emotions. I don't know if Joe Willock sent him his boxes or something, but must be one of them. You know, it would be nice to see Joe on another loan. You know, a lot of conclusions are being made. When's his contract up? You know, it might be, if we aren't going to sell him, might have to give him a new deal and protect that resale value. You know, the thing I'm happy with Joe is he's going to come back a confident player. Like, he's just confident in his abilities now, man. Again, if we've made a decision to sell, man, we need to sell, man. You know, I don't think Arteta wants to sell him, but if we're talking about these Buendias, these hours, these Basumas, then unless Kroenke puts his hands in his pockets, which again, you lot can hope for that if you want. I'm not sure you are. We're gonna have to make some necessary evils, in my humble opinion, and unfortunately, that might have to be selling Joe for whatever they want and things like that, which I don't want to see happen, but it might be. It might have to happen, you know. How else are we going to raise funds? You know, I don't want to sell Maitland-Niles, even though his loan spell's been dead in comparison to Maitland-Niles. I mean, into Joe Willock. Like a lot of us, when Joe was getting chances, we were saying, why not Maitland? You know, and I still think a lot of that was true, like at the time. But admittedly, obviously, they're in two different teams, and you know, Newcastle are better than West Brom. But you can see why Joe's getting the chances and Maitland-Niles wasn't, if that makes sense, you know. So yeah, a case of to sell or not to sell. Oh, look, he's a crazy one, you know. It's a difficult one. You know, it could be a variety of reasons. You know, I personally think how Steve Bruce is using Joe Willock is 10 times better than how I've seen Arteta using, because excluding them games where we need someone to help Aubameyang press or whatever, there hasn't been a plan for Joe, where it looks like Steve Bruce has married that element by giving him a freedom. And for me, it's as simple as putting Joe in the pivot, you know, rather than the 10. He's not a 10. He's a pivot, man. He's someone that works hard for the team, and there's an option for that in the squad. But Joe needs to ask himself, does he honestly think he's going to play for Arsenal? Again, it's good for us saying he's going to be in the squad, but if we do sign these midfielders or midfielder, are you honestly going to be in the makeup? And that's for him to answer. I like Joe, and the one thing I like about him is he's got an asset that not a lot of our players have. In that, the man wants to run forward. It's just about taming that, you know, offering a bit more than just gear. You know, you've got to have an idea to have the gear. Because even me, I like the box to box nature, but is keeping someone just because they get up and down the field. Like I said, we don't have it, but suddenly if you bring in Basuma and Partey, they can do that, you know. And as much as it, you know, can you really praise a footballer for running around? Can you really praise a midfielder for working hard? Does it really make sense when I go against my own logic? I don't know, man. Willock hasn't proved himself in the S show of tactics that we have. I think that's harsh. I think every player is struggling, really and truly, man. I wouldn't say Joe Willock's the answer, Mike. You're right, but I don't think there's anything wrong with saying he could stay in the club and do a thing. Why not, man? He's Hey Lens, man. I'll always support the Hey Lens, man. Would you take Ramos on a free but 300 per week for 2-year contract? No, because Ramos is a leader and all those sort of things. But we're gonna bring him in, and suddenly you're gonna see errors in his game you didn't see. We're not gonna protect him, and it's not the same, man. Alexander, I hear that. You said, in my opinion, they're not comparable. Our is an 8 that could play 10, and Buendia is a winger that could play 10. To be fair with you, I hear that. I agree. But at the same time, I see no reason why long-term Buendia can't play as an 8. I don't see why. I don't see why not. Apologies. The drawback in Willock's game is his decision making. He'll score a banger once in a while, but we've moved on from sentiment. Selling for 2025 and sign Burge to strengthen the base. T, I hear what you're saying until you said Burge. I wouldn't mind Burge, but I can't lie. I'm more trying to bring in these hours and these Basumas. Then if we can't get certain things, I'd actually try the French league or something. Then a Sander Burge. I'm not against Sander Burge signing. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, it's like, all right, cool sort of thing, if that makes sense. My forgive Cronke shopping list. Well, you said forgive Cronke. I can't read that. Never ever. Never ever. Shane has said stop signing foreign trash. I think that's harsh, Shane, and I think that's a bit booky. Calm down, man. A bit dodgy. I hope Maitland-Niles will be presented with an ultimatum. Play right back will be sold, because I think I would rather have 20 million than him. I think it's already happened, man. You know, unless a miracle happens, I think he's already been told, you know, that he's going. Cam, this is why you're my guy. Buendia created 83 chances his season in the Prem. That's quality for a player for Norwich. That's 10 more chances created than Kevin De Bruyne this season. So, Cam, it's like I was saying earlier in that, and I'm sure you was here when I was saying how, it's lovely that he's in double figures for goals and assists. But for me, what gives me joy is knowing these sort of stats, because these are underlining factors. And I do think, you know, we don't obviously we need goal scorers in midfield, but what we need is influence. Sometimes influence can go beyond goals and assists. You know, Iniesta didn't have the best of goals and assist record, but you know, do I need to tell man what Iniesta was on? No, I don't, man. So 100% agree with stuff like that. Kimberly said Joe Willock's contract ends on the 31st of May 2021. Now that's harsh, very harsh, man. Bit harsh. Joe won't be played on a regular basis. It's the same as Lingard. They'll thrive at their loan clubs. And obviously, you know, for Joe, how much help has it been? Like when we've seen with Pepe or any player, you can't not play someone, then dash them in and think it's going to be a madness. Sometimes some players can thrive in that. Some man need to be given a couple of games to get into the groove of things. And with Joe, obviously, Joe hit it off instantly at Newcastle. But how much has that helped him continuously playing? Because I don't know about Joe's future beyond this season, but he only really, the only chance last season, or better this season, came when he was badding up Europa League. He got his start against Leeds and everybody was trash. Yeah, man, saying Grealish, but I think that's a myth, bro. If you don't put money on the table, it's a myth, man. Shane has said, you're not hearing me. We need proven Premier League players. Bro, I can't hear something you didn't say. You literally just only said stop signing foreign trash, bro. You know, communication is key, man. Communicate better. Anyways, people. Bearman saying Grealish, but I think that's a myth, bro. If you ain't got 80 to 100 M's, forget about it. Forget about it. Absolutely forget about it. Good opinions coming through, people. Shout out to everybody in the comments and that. I appreciate that. Appreciate everything saying. This is it, Jay. This is what I feel, Jay. Joe Willock ain't the answer, but he can defo add something. This is what I feel. I feel Joe can bring something to the table. I think with Joe, as a player there, if we could just mold him, take the good things about him, give him a bit more, and I won't go as far as to say complete midfielder, but we'd have a competent guy there, like a really competent guy there, you know? Because what you don't want to happen is like what you used to see with Dele Alli, is where you start correlating if he's played well, if he scored. And there was a time where Dele Alli, he weren't playing well unless he scored goals. And that's the thing where you don't want Joe to just be reliant on that. You don't want a one-trick pony. You want to marry the box-to-box nature that Joe's got, give him a bit more on the ball, really and truly. He's got the industry, he's got the gear. It's just about an idea, getting an idea now. Very good player though, man. I think he slept on, and it shows how far he's come. Remember when Joe Willock was fed to the wolves a couple of years ago, Newcastle away? Then he batted them up a year before. Now he's playing for them. Is what it is. Buendia would cost 40 million. Better to go for Eze. Well, don't think the two are correlated, but at the same time, but at the same time, obviously, Ize's injured. Big Jarrah said, I rate what Joe is doing at Newcastle, but I feel like no one looks at the things logically. He's doing bits, but everyone would be saying the same if he has another loan and his average. People don't like to consider variables. As I said, man, there's people that Joe looks the best thing since sliced bread. He's the worst thing ever. Much like when speaking about Arteta, about the football club, about anything correlated to this football club, it's either black or white. It's never something in the middle. And you can't look at football like that, in my opinion. Just my opinion. Eze would be expensive. He's injured at the moment, so it's a madness. As much as I'd rather keep Joe Willock over Xhaka, as much as I don't necessarily rate Xhaka, let's be real, Joe Willock immediately, if he's thrown into that pivot, he's not going to offer what Xhaka offers on the ball. And do I think Xhaka is level? He's not. They're not the same player, so it's not irrelevant. Is he better than El Nene? Yeah, he actually tries to play a ball forward. It is what it is. Man need to get over this proven Prem player BS. I wouldn't say get over it, but it's like it's too over. It's just, it's all of that Prem proven, knows the league, knows this and that. And it's all about context, man. Always enjoying your content, young king. Keep pushing. Rubama, I appreciate that, man. Tristan, big up yourself. And you made some real positive messages, or you left some real good positive messages on a couple of my videos. And I really appreciate that, man. It keeps a guy going, man. Perry said, don't mind me just sneaking in late. Hit the like button, all we do, man. Where's your late slip, my broski? Better late than never, man. Better late than never. I appreciate you for tuning in either way, man. Push the likes, man. Push the likes, like you said. Freight Creator has said, yes, DG, late to the show, but big up DG Nation. Well, welcome off all you late comers, man. Make sure you're hitting that like button, man. You're not getting away that easy. Please stop spamming. Spamming ain't going to get shit answered quicker. Please use common sense in that regard. I'll purposely ignore your messages. It's not going to get up. Have some manners, please, like everybody else is having. It doesn't cost a thing, people. It doesn't cost a thing. It is what it is. Should we look at Arteta's post-game comments as well, folks? I really want to look at them. Let's look at this. Shy guy, man. If I had £1 for every time I got this, man. It was a good goal, innit? Really and truly, really and truly, when I'm not doing stuff on YouTube, I'm scoring goals, man. Like it's all good though. It's all good, man. Bro, Premier League proven talent. You got to put the money on the table, and we're bringing in Willian and that. Like, you can sign. I want Premier League proven players too. There's bare man in the Premier League I would want, but again, you got to probably overpay. We all know this, and you got to go after man that are actually good. Like, it's as simple as that. But let's see what Arteta has had to say on Martinelli and all these things. On the importance of the win, yes, it was a crucial moment because we wanted to go into the final day with every chance to be in Europe next season. In order to do that, we knew we had to win today and wait for some results. And with the way the game was developing, we were running out of time and it looked difficult. But at the end, we found a way to do it. I mean, you don't shoot, you don't score, still relying on individual brilliance, still not capitalizing on taking the early lead, still not continuously managing the game properly. We looked very poor when we conceded the goal for a 5 or 10 minute flurry. We're touching 70 minutes. We've had one shot on target, which was a bit of individual brilliance from the two lefties in Tierney and Saka, with the third lefty, Pepe, actually finishing it off, created with all left footers. All the goals were moments of individual brilliance. We've had 3 shots on target, scored 3 goals, like on the Emre. When we won, it was clinical. When we lost, it was a lack of effort. So again, not shooting, not dominating possession, not building on early leads. That game summed up our season, really. And the one consistency has been, whether we've won, lost or drawn this season, these same problems as to why we haven't got a result or where we need to improve, they've all been there, people. 400 people, please make sure we're hitting the like button. Let's get to 400 likes. On what the change in the game was down to, well, the change in momentum was with the things we did really well in those periods. Then we stopped doing those things. We started playing the game we wanted to play, the plan that we wanted, avoid what they want to do. And when you do that, you and in control, and we had chances and we had the dominance in the game. Okay. The moment we conceded the goal after losing the ball and making an unnecessary foul in a dangerous area, we conceded the goal. And after that, we just lost it. This is it for me. We started to give balls away. We look scary. And as much as I think it's down for Arteta, this is where I think you need new players that can handle these environments. You know, you've never been a goal down in a game of football. React. Have that safe passage in your mind to say, cool, we was messing about. We should have killed off the game. You know, you don't do that, you get slapped in the face. Palace have slapped us in our face with scoring. Let's go out there and pattern it. Instead, there was a period where, like he said, unnecessary more fouls were being given. We're losing the ball. We looked like we could have conceded again, but fortunately, you know, we got the rub of the green. We didn't look composed at the back during our build-up, and we looked uncertain. When that happens, long balls, second balls, draws, 50-50s, they're much better at that than us, and we were losing that even more. So I think after the changes, we got that change back much better. We were more composed. We played in the final third without creating much, I must say. But at the end, with 2 great actions, we managed to win the game. And again, we need to create a lot more. Football's a game of high percentages. You create 10, you create 3 chances, you might score 3 goals or something, and it looks like it's clinical. But there are isolated incidences. There's games where you don't win that game. You create 100 chances, you score 1, it is what it is. Like those individual goals we scored were all good goals in isolation, but they should be the direct consequences, coincidence, and a direct consequences of what we're working on in training. We're still relying on individual brilliance, which it was brilliant, an end to the game, but it shouldn't have had to be like that, people. On how close Martinelli is to starting, very close. He needs to sort out that first touch. That's one thing, as much as I love him. He needs to keep fighting to be closer and closer. You know, Arteta needs to just free up Pepe and Martinelli properly. Look at what Pepe's done for you. We need to understand where the boys are in their phase of their development and what they've done already this season. And last season, I know that we want to play with 11 academy boys under 20, but guys, who's doing that? And that's true. You know, I don't think you can praise fans. Fans call for all of these players, and when they struggle, they're the same ones to want them out and all these things, and they're the same ones that can't be praised. I 100% agree. Bare fans that are crying for Balogun to start, which he should have been on the bench, for what it's worth. When he has a shaky game, the energy is going to be different, people. And football's not logical. Fans are not logical. It takes time to have calculated opinions. This is why fans have a lot of hot takes. Anyways, we are doing more than anyone, and they're going to have the chances. They are earning their chances. It's not like we are giving the chances. They are earning the chances. It's a joy to have them with us. I mean, you was giving chances to William, but fair play, Martinelli's earning it. On whether European exit has liberated the team, come on. This guy asking questions is being an idiot. Well, I think you have to win 4 matches to prove that you have reacted as a team. The reaction and the pain in that dressing room still hurts, and that is what we are using in the final games to show everyone and show ourselves that we could have done better. Bro, I don't need to be in made to know we could have done better. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, not facts. It is what it is. But we're not going to give up. It's too late to not give up. And we're going to challenge to the last day to give Arsenal a chance to be back in Europe and have the opportunity again. On Odegaard's pass for Martinelli's goal, with his quality, he's able to do that. And the connection with those runners from the opposite side is something he's really good at. He's finding the right moment and right time to do it. And Gabby managed that ball because it was not easy at all to control it. Obviously, he was ecstatic to score a goal to see a late goal scored. On if we'll qualify for Europe, on if it matters in which competition we'll play in next season. He said, well, we want to be in the Europa League. If I have a chance to decide, finish as high as possible in that table and be in Europe. On Pepe, how he's now settled as a Premier League player. As we know, Pepe is now settled. You know, he's starting to be involved in the game all the time. He's starting to, you know, he's involved in the game all the time. It's not just individual moments. He's taken to the defensive art. He's more consistent in it. Now he just needs to be given an opportunity to play. I'm going to do a live stream soon on unpopular opinions, my unpopular opinions. And I've got one for Pepe and Arteta. He said, well, I'm very encouraged and positive to think that for 2 reasons. One, because he's come a long way in terms of consistency of what he's producing in the game, not only in the Premier League, but what he's done in Europe this season. And the second one, because of his serious mindset. I have seen a mindset change. You know, it's not just vibes and laughter with Pepe now. It's that, because that's who he is as a person. That's who he's going to be as a footballer, but a bit serious now. You know, I think he's found that mental stability as well, that, you know, good or bad, people are going to talk. And I think you need that healthy platform as well. It's like maybe you could even say with Joe Willock, could he have, when you're on the pitch and you know you're not playing on a regular basis and you have to show something, are you trying too much so ultimately you're doing little? I don't think that's the case. I'm just throwing points out there. He said he wants to look at every action, he wants to look at every post-match reflection we do with him individually, and that's it. You know, that's one thing I don't think was there with Pepe. You have to provoke. He's at that stage where, yeah, you can talk about the manager not playing him, tactics, this, that, and the other, but there's a lot he needs to change. You need to understand that you need to give your life to football. His dad said that when he signed for Arsenal, and I think now he's taking heed of that. And I think Arteta's done quite well in that. But I do think there's a lot to come from Pepe and Arteta, definitely in relation to his management of Pepe. He wants to work and he wants to be the best. See, he wants to create his own legacy. And when that happens, he has the talent that he has. I think it's a really good mixture. You know, shout out to Roy Hodgson, but there's no need to mention that. On the character, well, before the character, on the importance of fans supporting the team against Brighton. Yeah, you can see today it was touching just being in the dressing room before the game, just listening to them singing, creating an atmosphere. This is how we've grown up as a player. There's nothing better than that. I'm sure they will turn up, support the team, and we need to create again that strong connection with the fans, because I believe that if we have them on board, really on board behind the team, I think we're going to have some really good moments together. I hear that, but we're with the players, we're with you lot for good or bad, but you know, the owner, man, we're only all going to be on the same hymn sheet when the owner's gone, my guy. But on the character of the team, he said, yes, but we have to handle that situation. If someone were to say to us in November or December that we could be in the position that we're in to have the chance in the last game to qualify for Europe, we'd have said you're crazy, but we've done it. I think what ourselves and the number of points that we've managed to get in those months, we have earned the right to be in that position. Now it's time to deliver on the final day, but unfortunately it's not in our hands. So for me, if you're conceding stuff in November, December, that tells me you didn't plan well in August. And that tells me if you lot are throwing the league or not believing, if you got the confidence to kind of say that in the public, what was you lot's mindset like in November, December? Did you lot write it off internally? And I think that's something Arteta can improve at, because I know he doesn't mean any malice or anything behind it. But I mean, this isn't good to just, you know, you don't say this isn't a thing. You know, if somebody were to say to us in November, December that we could be in the position that we're in to have the chance in the last game to qualify for Europe, we'd have said you're crazy. I don't think we would have, but fair play, fair enough. You know, that's Arteta's post-game comments, really, people. Let me see if there's any others. Well, sorry, people, you know, Martinelli on his goal, a big win, and the fans shout out to him. We should actually make a note of that. Post-game comments, Martinelli speaks, etc. Where are we at in terms of likes, people? There's 430 of you. It locked in. We're only at 323 likes, so 100 of you are not doing your job. If you do not hit the like button, Arsenal are not going to have a good transfer window, and Kroenke is going to be here to stay, people. So I would do that if I was you. Obviously, Martinelli came off the bench. He said, yeah, in my opinion, we played so well. It was a bit difficult because they have a really good team. I think we played so well and deserved to win. On staying strong to go and win the game. Yeah, well, he's obviously said the same thing on how amazing, on how it felt to score. He said, so amazing. I'm always ready to come on. And when I score, I'm so happy. On playing in front of the fans, yeah, it felt so good. I cannot wait to be at the Emirates and play in front of our fans. On the final day, Martinelli said, we need to finish well this season. We need to prepare and beat Brighton and show the fans a good performance. Facts, 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 and more facts. You know, so it is what it is, man. In that regard, shout out to the young gunman Martinelli, people. We know Pepe's come a long way. I did. Something tells me there was more comments in relation to Martinelli, but I cannot even source them. So we're gonna have to leave that one at that, folks. I can't even lie to you. So let's leave that there. What else are you lot saying? They did. They wanted our players to die on that football field, man. You know, it is well, it is. Moderators, please do your job. You've got shadows there. We moved though, man. We moved. They can't stop the grind. You know, what a sad individuals, man. Trust me, the journalist is a wind-up merchant, man. Obviously, free Palestine each and every time, man. I'm dreaming of Camavinga as well, my guy, but I think that's where that one there stays, man. You know. He does need to stop overplaying Saka, and maybe he does need to stop mistreating players that are saving him, really, you know. Shout out to Beanie Vibes and all the members. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Stylish and Peter, I appreciate you lot. Chrisia said the context of quality PL proven players. It takes less time to acclimatise to a new club than someone coming from a different league who must become accustomed to a new league, club and country. But we've seen teams move from Premier League to Premier League, players move from Premier League to Premier League team and struggle. We've seen foreign players hit off straight away. So I do agree, but it's all subjective, man. First time listener, this man is speaking sense. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. You know, you either get, for everyone that says that, you get called something else. So, you know, it all depends, man. I appreciate the super chat. Since Arteta's clear out, Arteta has been top 3 Premier League managers for points since Christmas. Pep 60, Oli 45, Arteta 45. Facts, he has had a good second half of the season. Well, you could say that, but I disagree because the devil's in the details. When I look at how we're playing, the lack of DNA, I think it's been a terrible season for others. I think them stats there, it does show improvement, but it's showing improvement without context. It all depends what you're looking for. And with all due respect, the league table doesn't start in Jan, doesn't start in November, doesn't start in December. It's where you start and finish. So, you know, I see, you know, United are in a final and in the Champions League for next season. Pep's won the league and in the final. That's still no excuse for having no DNA, for the amount of points we've conceded, for the amount of points dropped, actually, for the amount of, you know, errors, for the lack of DNA. There's a lot of things, but, you know, it is what it is. It shows there's something to build upon without a doubt, my dude, really and truly. And actually, that puts us up perfectly into the next phase, really and truly, of this video, because that's something I wanted to speak about as well. For me, I don't really condone that because, again, it all depends what you're looking for. You know, I think if I share the screen, oh, sorry, I need to remove your thing. Love for the super chat. If I share the screen, yeah, man, you know, yeah, that's great. You know, but Liverpool are not there. Liverpool could, you know, what does it say about Liverpool? That Liverpool are not there. This is in the period that you said, because I planned to speak about that. Liverpool's had a terrible season. They're about to get Champions League. You know, what does that say there? Again, it's all about what you're looking at. For me, if you look at it in isolation and say there's a lot of problems with our team there, you know, but there's improvements to be had, because again, there was a point where Arteta and Thomas Tuchel had the same points tally. It all depends what you're looking at. For some people, they will look at that and just be ridiculously positive. Some people will be negative, you know, where the truth is in the middle, in that there is some good, there is something being built here, there are some positives, there are some building blocks, but it's not good enough, really and truly. And I actually tweeted something in relation to this, and I thought it would be best to just get that up. I can't remember how I articulated what I wanted to say there. Where is it? Sorry, people. You're not going to have to give me... Yeah, people. Again, you know, there's no harm in looking at this. There's no harm in seeing how we can have building blocks. There's no harm in finding positives in what's been a negative season. But it's about context, people. And I think the reality is there is something to build upon, but we've just not been good enough. And like I've said here, I've tweeted it, it all depends on what picture one is trying to paint. Too many people use such to suit a false narrative versus accepting the data for what it is. Like I said, accept it for what it is. Positives, negatives, and how one could build for the future. That's what I think that is. You know, the league does not start in December. And even that, if we look at the results and we say, cool, why aren't you top then? You know, we could sit there and say, why aren't we top? Because how many results did we F up in that period as well? Really and truly, there's 5 draws, 5 defeats there. You know, only Leicester and Leeds have done worse than us. Obviously, we're matching Chelsea. You know, there's 5 draws as well. Why have we drawn those games? Why are we not first? Why are we not on 50 points? Again, I'm not expecting us to win the league title, but it's that my point is I'm just trying to paint a picture for you in that it's about what you're trying to see from that. If you already have an idea of what you want to see, like I said, that will tell you Arsenal's got the potential to win the league next year. When reality is there is some positives, but we need to sustain it, really and truly, in my opinion. But everyone's entitled to one. Shout out to you for the super chat, though, and the interesting comments. So, yeah, that's how I feel in that regards, man. I was watching the game yesterday, and the surprise last-minute win gave me a lot of confidence for my first interview today. I have social anxiety. My guy, hopefully you can get over that. You know, I don't know how you can get over that, but we're all giving you the strength and whatnot to do that. And, you know, hopefully you got confidence, and go smash that interview, man. Just remember, they're not going to see you again if you don't get in it. So show them what you're on. Show them what you're on. Just be cool, calm, and collected. J. Cole, shout out to you from Australia. Big up the Australian killies, them. Yeah, he's done all right. That's what I said, you know. It shows you there's some positives, but at the same time, it shows you that there, it goes away from the fact that there's a lot of questions that Mikel Arteta needs to answer. The fact is that league table doesn't really mean anything. How has he outperformed Klopp? Because at the same time, Klopp's about to get top 4 if they win. So what does that mean? I don't think he's outperformed Thomas Tuchel, because since Thomas Tuchel's come in, there's 2 cup finals there, and it looks like they're getting top 4. You should be outperforming Everton. Carlo Ancelotti is a fantastic manager, but you should be outperforming Everton, really and truly. We shouldn't be having to clear out things in December. Moyes is going to finish ahead of us. The league doesn't start in December. Arteta was not installed in December. Arteta was installed in August. So while it shows there are some building blocks and some praise for the team, as I said, you need to look at what you need to accept the data for what it is. And that's that there are some positives you can build upon. It doesn't, these sort of statistics, it makes it look like Arsenal are on a level they're not, in my opinion. And like I said, the league starts in May, in August, and ends in May. So don't really show me much, really. Teams started to dip as well. But anyways, moving on, man. What else you saying? Imagine if we could beat Crystal Palace, Fulham, Man United, Leeds, Wolves. Bro, this is it, man. And I agree with that. Arteta's done better than most think. But for me, and I can only talk for myself, I wanted it come the end of May. I know what my manager's about. I know what the DNA is about. And I haven't really seen any of that, man. And this is it as well. He was 12th, 13th before that. So again, it's all subjective, man. This is it, see, again, it's all good points. But again, like you said, it's more confirmation bias. If you're not looking at, and I'm not saying you, Zed, I'm just speaking generally. If you're not looking to seek it at neutral, let's just say you believe Arteta is the best manager in the world, which isn't wrong or isn't right necessarily. Everyone's allowed their opinions. And you see a stat like that, that is confirming what you already think. And it's like, see, you're saying it's just confirmation bias. So if man are looking at that in isolation, it is what it is. And this is it. You can't, you can pick cherry pick data, I'd say, to make yourself feel better. And that isn't how it works. But I agree with what you're saying, Robert, man. Kimberly has said, DG, for real, you're diplomatic and speak facts, providing great content and stats. Keep going, nice vibes. I appreciate it, though, man. Bro, and again, I'm not going to praise Arteta for using Smith Rowe, because we all said in the summer, Partey and Aouar, Partey and that skill set, that is what you needed. Lo and behold, creativity's been a problem. This is where you've got Arteta an inability to arrest the problems of our squad. You've got Edu and not pulling his weight. You've got Kroenke with the shit mentality. So again, how can I really expect Arteta to fix that? And again, for Arteta, he tried everything but. I know Smith Rowe had injuries, but he tried everything but that. He maybe should have pushed for a loan addition. Again, the Ozil one is subjective, but he didn't use Ozil. He tried to use the Lacazette thing. He tried to use Ceballos. He tried Willian there. We're getting rid of Ozil in the Jan. And again, some of this isn't just his fault. Isn't his fault. But at the same time, I can't really praise someone for finally using someone. Oh, I didn't say this. The results are bad, you complain, which fans should. There's nothing. If the results improve, it's nothing. Again, I don't think you're listening, because what did I say yesterday? Yesterday as well, and I said it when we beat Chelsea, we know we can do it against the top 6. We know that we can do things. We know we can defend when the times come. We know there's elements of attacking play. We know there's building blocks. So again, without bias, again, Paul, from your message, it's like you want me to say something you want to hear, which again, like I said, in isolation, there are positives to take from that. There's negatives. What we should not do is look at that and either be 100% positive or negative, accept it for what it was, is that Arsenal have a bag of problems. There are some positive points and we need to build upon them. But we're only going to be able to build upon them if everybody is singing from the same hymn sheet. Arteta's got a bag of problems. Kroenke, we all know, is the underlying problem. Edu and those people around him that are in charge of transfers, they need to move it out. They need to do a job. We always told collaboration is key. We were told by the club they want to collaborate on matters. Now we're going to have to see it, people. So, Paul, with respect, please research what the confirmation bias is. I think we can all understand a rebuilding job. Like I always say, Rome wasn't built in a day. We're just asking to see scaffolding and things being delivered to the building site. What we can't do, or what we shouldn't do, is come here and start projecting things and saying things people didn't say and exactly not listening. You're 100% right, but is that not Kroenke's fault? Any Arsenal not being in the domain that we want Arsenal to be is Kroenke's fault. Arsenal are here because of Kroenke. That's it. You know, it's the owner's fault. If I have a business and my business is failing, I can, you know, the manager might be fugazi, I might have some other employees that are moving mad, but it's my fault. At the end of the day, it's my name on, you know, the HMRC document. It's my name in the top of the shop. You know, I have to take responsibility. If the culture of my business is a joke and people are not being serious, it's because I must be not serious or a joke. So yeah, man. It is what it is. E.g., some people are clearly not listening and then attacking an argument you never made. Tristan, welcome to the life of a YouTuber. Like I say, people, I can only be held accountable for my opinions. My opinions are always open for debate. I learn a lot from you lot, but don't tell me I didn't say. Don't tell me I said something I didn't say. Like, this is it, man. I would like to see Arteta giving better players, but there's a lot for everyone, man. You know, Arteta could learn from his stubbornness. The players need to learn from a lot, definitely. I don't want Kroenke to learn. I just want him out. Like I said, you could sign Lionel Messi, Neymar, all of these people. I don't really care, man. Ah, Paul, no harm, no foul, man. Like I said, Paul, please just stick to what I've actually said. I know I talk at 1,000,000 miles per hour, but slow down the YouTube, man. Like, all the players need to change their mentality. You should always have a winning mentality. They should be more aggressive. And that's something where I have sympathy for Arteta, because for me, I can talk about the false nine and all that stuff with Villarreal, but the way they're playing, when the players' backs are against the wall, Arteta I do get the vibe Arteta prepares and plans well in the week, and he's got all his problems. But once he steps over that line, or the players step over that line, it's down to them. And too often than not, I see them look to the young Saka, look to the young Smith Rowe, and just crumble. And that's something where I think we need better players, man. I just feel, you know, the simple fact is some of them have played under 3 different gaffers now. And someone was having the same questions and the same sort of stuff about the same individuals. For me, isn't that enough? And that's where I think maybe if the club were winners, we might have been able to save Arteta, because Arteta might have been a bit naive, you know. Like, I'm not going to name them all, but there's all players that he seems to, for me, put his faith in. They're the ones that want to leave the club. They're the ones that want to let him down. One has to wonder, how many can you really expect change when it's the same new man, you know? We lack quality and leadership, you know. All I hear is that these men are leaders, you know. And I think these guys, I think it's a leadership thing. Leadership, I think you need belief in it. And these players, their confidence is too volatile. When you win a game, they clearly think they're amazing. When they lose a game, they don't think they're Premier League players. And that's not healthy. Anytime, obviously, wins bring confidence, and losing, you can lose confidence. But I just feel it's too volatile. There's no level-headedness throughout all of the squad, really and truly, man. In my humble opinion. We're 20 or 400 likes, though. Please make sure you're running up that one, though. I appreciate that. Interesting debate, guys, man. You see, when you do it like Paul, why couldn't that other brother be like Paul? He thought he heard something. I've explained this calm. My man's there crying about Joe Willock to me. It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Not enough leaders. Fair enough, there isn't, man. That's why I'd rather like, in theory, you know, I'd rather give Arteta new players. My problem with Arteta is that, have you shown me anything to say it's as simple as you're getting new players? I don't know, man. That's where I say you have to get everyone, man. I've got more faith in Arteta than the man that owned this club, 100%. You know, Mo/DG collab. Shout him. What's going on there? Big up DG putting in the work. I'm enjoying the Arsenal chat every day. Big up everyone locked in. Shout out all the members. Liam, I appreciate that super chat, and I appreciate you. Shout out to YouTube for taking their cut off that as well, man. There's 100% bad eggs in the squad. And that's where I think, that's what I'm saying. Arteta should have been saved from his naivety if we had some people around him, because I think Arteta's gone in it a bit naive, and these players have done him dirty like they've done Emre dirty, in the sense of, when these men come in, you see it all the time. They say, oh, we know everything. They leave, they train us. All you heard was Arteta gives us homework. There's drones. He chats to us. We understand collectively, individually. You know, so at some point, their chat is reflected on the football field. But at some point, like with the FA Cup and this season, when the novelty of a new manager wears off, these players revert back to type. They show what they are, and that's for me where we need better players. You know, that's where Arteta, for me, he's got to look at that and say, yo, I can't believe in this guy. I can't believe in that guy. I can't believe in next guy. You know, on one hand, I think he's playing people because he's got no choice. But on the other hand, you know, he might be putting faith in these guys. So, and he looks like he's gonna, you know, like he might die on that sword that Wenger ultimately died on, and relying on man that relying on man that don't have any accountability and self-pride, man. And way before all of this, there are a lot of questions that Arteta has posed up through his own self, man. Inshallah, Gabriel and Saliba work wonders next season. I think they will, but we need a next defender because these men are young men. Like you see with Gabriel and Saliba, when you're going through good form, it's prolonged. Sometimes you're going through negative form. And what I don't want to see is that we can't take them out the side. You know, they're going to, you know, Gabriel's learning some harsh lessons. Saliba's going to learn some harsh lessons. They're young and somewhat naive and raw defenders. We need to go through that. It's like expect Balogun to score bare goals straight away when he ain't played 10 Premier League games for 90 minutes and stuff. So how can we? You know, I think fans, I'm not saying you, I'm not really any of the DG nation, but we have to remember to get them to that stardom tomorrow, they're here. And that's nothing wrong. It's how we move them bit by bit. As I said, Rome wasn't built in a day, you know, but again, are we putting down some brickwork? Are we setting up the plumbing? Are some materials being dropped off? Do you get it? Are we talking with architects? So it's not built in a day, but there's building blocks every day, if that makes sense. That's just me, man. I think Saliba and Gabriel will be quality, but again, you know, I think we just need a bit of experience to just hold their hands here and there a couple of times and we'll get through it, man. Quality players. I can't lie, though. Arteta needs to show me he's going to coach that out because, again, if Joe Willock comes back next season, you need to show me how you're going to take that box to box and marry it with an Arsenal midfielder and get the best out of Joe Willock. How you're going to take Saliba to that next level. How you're going to take Gabriel to that next level. Do you get it? How are you even going to take Saka to the next level? There's going to come a point where we're looking at Smith Rowe, next level. Martinelli, how are you going to make him? You said he should be able to play, which I agree, across all the front three. How are you going to make him that striker? How are you going to make him that devilish left winger? How are you going to make him that dazzling right winger? You know, these are the things. Because we're not going to get too many players that are the finished article. We need to train man up and all of these sort of things. And that's that. Fans are illogical people, you know. These same fans that are gassing up Joe Willock with respect, they've hounded the man out. You know, they've hounded out him when he played Newcastle away a couple years ago. You know, there was fans going on certain YouTube channels and criticizing the man beyond whatever. My point being is fans can do that, but we need to take time with it. But football isn't logical, so how can you expect fans to be? Is what it is, man. Bro, shout out Chambers. Chambers can stay calm, man. Chambers can stay, bro. Little squad player there. It's cool. Shout out to Chambers, man. What are the 3 areas you think we should improve next season? Isn't it obvious? Speaking for myself, centre half, centre mid, without a doubt. You know, we spent the best part of this video just speaking about bare thingies, centre mids. Right back, without a doubt. Yeah, the spine of the squad. Like, it's basic. A backup left back, but grade A priorities, like for me, we cannot go into next season with obviously central midfield. I believe another centre half. I believe a right back. If them 3 areas, starting areas aren't addressed, then for me, we can forget about everything. That's just me personally, but I don't know that to be true, man. That's just me. A has said, hi, Deluded. First time in your stream. How you going in Liverpool? How you going in Liverpool fan and only rival team I respect is Arsenal. Shout out to you, my guy. Shout out to you. Are you going on rants today? No, I'm actually coming off this right now. I've got to go physio, people. So I'm going to quickly... My physio actually watches me. So I'm actually going to go gym, even though they said no. And I'm going to go to the physio. My physio appointment is at 2:30. So there'll be time for that. There'll be time for that, man. Call me mad, but I'd get Tyrone Mings, has that age and experience. You're a madman still. You're a madman still. I can't lie. You're a madman. You're a madman. I'm not really on that still, but if he came, he'd get my support, man. Have 100% have my support. I've never seen that 10-year-old, and personally, I don't think it's Arsenal didn't do it, but I don't like to see that the man is 10 years of age. Why do we not that I don't think it's a good moment for him, but why do we know about him? Because in a couple of years, I'm like, where was Donny? Well, where is he now? You know, I think up until 16 or so, when you can't help it, when they're gonna get scholars, I don't think you should know who these players are, because there's people gonna probably call Donny a wonder kid and then all these things. It's not healthy, but that's where we're at with football, man, in my opinion. But yeah, people, I can't lie, I've got to bust out, people. Like I said, though, check out the live chat. I'm gonna be back later. We didn't speak about everything, so when I'm here at 5 with my guy Art the Roche, we'll speak about a lot of points. So a lot of questions. Make sure you've got them saved there, people. Let me drop the link in the live chat for you. Look, we've been here for a madness. You know, Arsenal fans didn't want Evans for 3 million. I thought Wenger was bugging out when he tried to give 3 million and swap Mustafi. You know, and then now I see it. So fair play. That's why I'm talking on YouTube, man. You know, and like I said, we shouldn't be talking about 10-year-old players and things like that. It's not nice, man. It's not nice. But on that note, I'm gonna have to love and leave you guys, people. But yeah, man, make sure you've hit the like button. I've appreciated listening to you. Look, we've had, what, 400 odd people here for the best part of it. I see it touch 500. I appreciate you lot locked in. You know the content isn't going to stop. I'll be back later. I'll be back tomorrow to preview the game. Saturday, I'll take off. And Sunday, it's watch-alongs. All of these things are out now, people. So you can type in Deluded, set your reminders and the rest of it. And obviously, this summer, it's Euros, it's Copa America, it's pre-season, it's transfer deadlines. I told you, a lot of you are sitting there and going, oh, Deluded, the season's almost finished. What are you going to talk about? I'm a superhero, man. I'm here. Like I said, I hope you've all had a good start to the week and you're having a good week. Please continue smashing it. Please stay safe. Make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and do the rest of those things. Check out the description and the live chat for any links for any of the adverts you've seen. I'm out. God bless you all.